What is up, everybody? In today's video we are going to finish the wiring harness for the E30 and attempt a first start. All that in today's episode. My name is Ryan. This is Project Race Car. Let's get into it. So this thing has been long overdue. We have been waiting for parts and parts and parts, and they have all officially come. So we are going to attempt to start this bad boy today. This is the K20 knock sensor that we were waiting for, and that is in. So we will need to remove the intake manifold and pop this guy in, and then we will finish a couple of wiring things and then be able to bolt up the intake. Once the intake is on, we will make sure that all of the fueling system is good and nice and tight, and make sure that everything is just go through a once over on the E30, and then we will fill it with fluids, oil and coolant, and make sure that everything is all good and not leaking. And then we will go ahead and plug in the battery and attempt a first crank, and then we will plug in the DME and then attempt a first start. So because this is a first start in a long time, and with new everything, I'm just going to take everything really slow today and just take my time and be diligent. I'm not in any rush to start this thing. I feel like a lot of issues come up when you are in rushes, so I'm just going to nice and calmly work on the car, go nice and slow, and make sure that this thing starts. I do have my laptop down here today, so that when this thing is ready, we can plug in and unlock the ECU. So when you buy a Link ECU, you will just need to message whoever you bought it from, and they will send you an unlock code. It's basically just a theft prevention device. Okay, so currently under the intake manifold and with all the wires and everything, we have a little bit of a mess going on, but I will clean this up off camera. I did want to show you guys what I am actually doing. Okay, so in the kit, it comes with this nice thick battery cable, and that goes from the alternator to the starter. You're gonna have another wire that goes from the harness to the starter, and then a third wire going from the starter to the battery positive post. You're basically bridging the power from the alternator to the starter, so you will have 3 tabs on the starter on that top bolt. Everything else is really simple, very easy, easily labeled out. So we are going to connect things. The wire management right now is a little bit messy, but we will just tackle that as it goes on. We will also be using the OEM metal gasket just to slap on there. I went ahead and got the coolant line hooked up, and then we are just going to set this thing on, bolt it up, and then make sure all the wires plugged in, and then we will be good to go. Okay, originally when I started this series, I said that K-series are super easy to work on, but when you convert them to rear-wheel drive, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So I just spent the last probably 30 minutes trying to get this intake manifold on, but I did run into a problem. Looking at the injectors, there's this small little crease, and then if we look at our actual injectors that we have, there is a big crease, right? A big little nub. So the injectors aren't fitting. I got the injectors for free, so I'm going to try to modify those to get those to fit into the pigtails of the injector clips. So I'm just gonna cut off that little top half and shave it down, and then pop all the injectors back in there. Yeah, I hadn't worked underneath and actually bolted up the intake before, and it messed me up, so we got it done though. Okay, so unfortunately even with these modified injectors, they just do not fit in the casing. So I'm going to try to find new injectors. Unfortunately, we'll see what these are actually wired for. I don't know. I don't think that wiring specialties got it wrong. I think that these were just aftermarket from a different car, because I got this with the old intake manifold. So they might be specific Type S injectors versus TSX. So we're still going to crank it and get oil pressure and make sure that everything is hooked up properly. We still need to get the throttle body hooked up and a whole bunch of other small things. Getting the car to crank is obviously the first start of getting it started. And then we will focus on fuel, spark, air, all that stuff. But we will kind of just make sure that we have the basics down and keep going from there. It will make me feel really good when it does crank and when we do have everything all set up. Fill it with oil and coolant and make sure that there's no just like basic leaks. Obviously that will present itself a little bit different when it's running, but for the most part, if we get it filled with fluids and it's not leaking anywhere, that's obviously a very good start. And then we will just make sure that we don't have any oil leaks in the future. The last 10% of the swap always tests you. It's why you have people that give up and they sell it for a discounted price and say all it needs is injectors, you know? Also, this big TF Works oil pan takes almost 8 quarts of oil, which is insane. So, bit pricey on the oil changes, but that's okay. It will at least prevent it from starving. I got all the rest of the quarts in, so this was the last of it. So we will most likely only be able to get like half of this coolant in, but it's still a good start. And then the rest will bleed when the thermostat opens. But we will just make sure that we don't have any active leaks, because that would not be fun to get pushed back again. I went ahead and got 2 gallons. It said that the TSX, an Acura TSX takes 1.8 gallons, whereas the E30 takes 11 quarts. So I figured meeting right in the middle, getting 2 gallons, it should be close enough to mixing both of them. Because if you guys do remember, this is still the stock Bmw E30 radiator. It's always a good sign when everything is closed and you squeeze it and don't hear anything or feel any, like it should have some pressure. So that's a good sign. If there was a leak, then it would have squirted out with that. So since there is no leak, we should hopefully not have any issues when we go to start it. Okay, there is nothing left to do except connect the battery and see if she cranks. So oil is filled. I went ahead and took off the valve cover the other day and just poured a quart of oil on the camshaft so that that's well lubricated. Yeah, obviously it won't start, it won't even fire, but we might have the fuel pump kick on. I'm not sure if that's chassis or ECU. And then I will also try to get the ECU ready to go. That way when I do get injectors, we can just pop those in and start her up. Okay, it is filled with oil. The battery is connected, and we should be able to, I'm gonna just click the key on, make sure that everything kind of lights up, and then I will listen for the fuel pump, see if that is turning on, and then we will be able to kind of check everything and just do a once over and make sure that there's no leaking fuel or anything like that. Okay, so the battery was dead, so I went ahead and grabbed one of my old batteries that had a little bit more of a charge, and hopefully this will be the cranking. So let's see. like it had decent compression. Okay, we got an oil leak out of the top, so I need to seal that a little bit. Make sure that that isn't going anywhere. But we have oil, so that's good. So again, obviously we need fuel, we need an ECU, but at least she cranks. That is the first step. Oh yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I am so stoked about that. So a lot of you guys have been following along for quite a long time. And I appreciate that so much. We have come a long way and it is getting closer and closer. I know that you guys have seen me just hit obstacle after obstacle. And again, that is just how these things go. It's quite easy to get wrapped up in the YouTube stuff and how quickly people finish builds, but for this being my first time and getting here and doing all the research and all the dreams and stuff, like we are just so close. So this is huge, huge progress. I am stoked about it. I was really excited about starting the car today, and I thought that we were gonna get there. If the injectors were correct, we would have been able to plug those in, plug in the link ECU, and then get it unlocked and all that stuff. But I will do a little bit of research, look for the correct fuel injectors. I am going to hook up the link ECU and get it unlocked. There are two sensors that I need to calibrate, and that's going to be the throttle position sensor and one other one. But again, this is so much closer than what I thought that we would be at. And again, we've made it this far. So this is a huge step and a big step in the right direction. Nothing caught on fire, which is good. I need to check and make sure that none of the electrical is hot or anything like that, because obviously, again, that can fry the ECU and do all that stuff, right? So I'm going to end the video here. Again, we are very close, but in the next video, pinky promise, we will be starting up the E30. I am so very excited. I hope you guys are too. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys are brand new. And in the next video, we will be starting this bad girl up. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my name is Ryan. This is Project Race Car. Have an amazing day. Peace.